To thank everyone that has signed up to come to this assembly. As you know that we've been celebrating Black History Month all through February, and these assemblies are one of the things that we are doing to represent Black History Month. It's a very important month. As I talk about, even though we're all Mustangs, we come in different breeds and shapes and sizes, and that's what's great about Medford High School. We're just one big melting pot, and we get to learn everybody's cultural backgrounds as well as their ethnic backgrounds, and it's just not one-sided that goes there. So having this assembly is a wonderful, wonderful thing. There's going to be a couple of speakers, and of course we have our Haitian Dance Club that has been working all year with Mr. John Apollone, who's been wonderful with our students, so we really appreciate it. We can give him a round of applause for coming and doing this. So before we get started, I want to introduce some guest speakers, and our first speaker is our Mayor, Luongo Kern. So please head on up. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal DeLeva. Oh. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me as part of today's celebration. I'm going to be brief in my remarks because I know that the performances and conversations scheduled for this afternoon are the most important. Today may officially be the final day of Black History Month, but to be clear, honoring, sharing, and prioritizing the significance of Black history and the contributions of Black Americans is absolutely not something that is simply confined to one month of the year. Medford, being one of the oldest communities in the nation, has its own history. The city was a stop on the Underground Railroad. Duggar Park is named after Lieutenant Colonel Edward Duggar, who fought in World War I. It is the first public park in suburban Boston named after an African American. However, it is also important to recognize that though Medford's history has had positive highlights in Black history, much of our written history is often attributed to landowners, slave owners, rather than telling the stories of and highlighting the significant contributions of Black slaves. For example, many people know about the Royal House itself, yet many may not know about the significant contributions of many, such as Belinda Sutton, an African-born woman who was enslaved by the Royals. Belinda successfully petitioned for a pension from the Royals, and it is amongst the earliest narratives by an African-American woman. Her narrative is seen by some as the first call for American slavery. The way we talk about our city's history is a conversation that needs to change. And like our commitment to continuing work towards equity and social justice, I am committed to changing this narrative. Being proud of our city's history means being proud of all of our history. I am proud that Medford is diverse, inclusive, and ever-changing, and our city government is reflecting that. But it is a work in progress. So today, as I join you to celebrate Black History Month in Medford, I vow to continue to work with all of you to make these critical changes, to work towards our goals around diversity, equity, and inclusion, and to continually review our progress and set new goals. Not from the top down, but truly working alongside the community to get where we need to be. I want to thank you again for inviting me. On behalf of School Committee Sharon Hayes and Member Rousseau, we appreciate being here, and we look forward to today's performances. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Your words are very appreciated here at Medford High School. And now I'd like to introduce our Superintendent, Dr. Maurice Edward Vincent.
Good afternoon. First, I would like to say thank you to our mayor for being here today, Mayor Luongo Kern, school committee members Rousseau and Hayes for being here to share with us this celebration. Thank you also, Ms. Jackie Peaks from the Mayor's Communications Office to come and celebrate. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to be here with all of you in the auditorium again today. I want to thank everyone who helped organize this. I want to shout out Ms. Walker for some of her coordination and support, and I'm not sure of all the other teachers I know that are here who have been working collaboratively with her, and Principal DeLeva, and I know Principal Fallon as well, and all of your team that are here. So thank you for that. So today, as we celebrate Black History Month, I want to give a few remarks, and I hope I don't repeat some of the comments that were said just prior to my speech, but you might hear a little bit of redundancy, but I think it's still important to share and say that with all of you. So when did Black History Month begin? Black History Month began in 1925, when Carter G. Woodson, hoping to raise awareness of African Americans' contributions to civilization, founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. So 1925. Right now we're in 2022, so we're just shy of 100 years. In 1976, President Ford officially proclaimed February as Black History Month in the United States. This year's theme is Black Health and Wellness. President Biden's National Black History Month proclamation stated the following: Black History Month serves as both a celebration and a powerful reminder that Black history is American history. Black culture is American culture. And Black stories are essential to the ongoing story of America. Our faults, our struggles, our progress, and our aspirations. It is important that we take the time to celebrate the immeasurable contributions of Black Americans, honor their legacies and achievements of generations past, reckon with centuries of injustice, and confront those injustices that still fester today. Medford was founded in 1630 as one of the oldest settlements in North America. The first African Americans arrived here on slave ships in 1638. Slavery was abolished in Massachusetts in 1783. But Medford's reminder of slave history still remains. We have the slave wall on Grove Street that is still standing, and the slave quarters at the Royal House, and the recently dedicated memorial to the slaves that are buried in the old burying ground on Salem Street in Medford Square. Medford's history also reflects some of the early African American pioneers who resided here in Medford. Belinda Sutton was an ex-slave who successfully sued her former owner's estate, Isaac Royal. She sued for a pension from the Great and General Court and Prince Hall, a leading 18th century abolitionist and founder of the Black Freemasonry. Indeed, Black history is Medford's history. Like many of you, my family settled in West Medford back in 1969. Medford, West Medford in particular, is one of the oldest African American neighborhoods in the United States. In 2005, the Tufts Journal wrote, "West Medford remains a jewel of African American history. It is a community that thrived. It is not, if not always economically, certainly socially and spiritually." The West Medford neighborhood was my safe haven, and it provided positive role models for me, my family, friends, and neighbors all worked hard and encouraged us to do well in school to prepare ourselves to lead fruitful lives. Many people from our neighborhood contributed to the rights and freedoms we have today. Reverend Oscar G. Phillips and his wife Miriam of the Shiloh Baptist Church were friendly with Dr. King and his wife Coretta. They, along with many others from the West Medford community, joined the March on Washington, rode the buses in Mississippi, and celebrated when the Civil Rights Bill was finally signed into law by President Johnson in 1964. To honor our brave ancestors, I challenge all of you to follow in their footsteps and get involved. At this time, voting rights are in peril, and equity in healthcare, highlighted during this pandemic, is sorely needed. Due to the rise of so many hate groups, the highest in over 12 years, significant work is necessary to examine racial justice and for you to lead as advocates for change in our community and across the country. Black History Month allows us to celebrate the culture and contributions of African Americans. We all need to learn from each other, be accepting and welcoming of all, and treat everyone with respect. In my work on District Attorney Ryan's Anti-Racial, Anti-Bias Task Force, we have discussed numerous issues of equity and racial justice. Working together, we hope to strengthen and uplift all those, both in our community and the Commonwealth as a whole. I stand before you today due to the African Americans who came before me. Madeline Duggar Andrews. Some of you may have gone to the Andrews Middle School. She was the first African American elected to serve on the Medford School Committee. Elizabeth Oliver Newton, a beauty salon owner. She was considered the first African American businesswoman in Massachusetts. And our Honorable Marie Oliver Jackson not only was the first African American woman to be appointed a Massachusetts District Court judge, but she was also a co-founder of our own Medford Family Network. All of these people I'm mentioning have ties to Medford. Within our immediate school community, there were many African Americans, including Alfred Johnson, the first African American to serve as the principal director of Medford Vocational Technical High School. Steve Maskell was the first African American to serve as an assistant principal and track coach at the high school. We have Ms. Sharos Walker, who's also representing an African American as a high school assistant principal. We have Mr. Kirk Johnson, who's an African American principal at the Roberts Elementary School. We have Ms. Shirley Counts, who was the first African American elementary principal in Medford Public Schools. And Angel Torres was the first African American to coach the Mustang boys basketball team. All of these role models laid the foundation for me, a first-generation Haitian American, to realize my dream to become the superintendent of schools in my hometown. Those who came before me took a leap of faith and worked very hard to attain their goals. These are people that looked like me. As I go about my daily duties, please know that I stand on all of their shoulders. And so in closing, please remember how important the Mustang way is. True Mustangs, and again I say true Mustangs, treat all people with kindness and consideration and are eager to learn from each other. Together, we can help make our community and our world a much better place in which to live. Let us all go forth, in the words of the poet Amanda Gorman, if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy. Thank you all very much.
I'm actually lucky because there's a few people that Dr. Edward Vincent mentioned that I actually was teaching when they were administrator. Ms. Shirley Counts, I was actually a science teacher at the Hobbs when she was principal there, and Mr. Maskell was my assistant principal when I was teaching up here as well. So by greatness, you know, it's great that you can see that legacy continuing and moving forward. The next person that I'd like to introduce, but first I'd like to thank, before she comes up here, is Ms. Sharos Walker. She's the one that initiated the student-teacher group that kind of came up with all the activities that will be happening this week, as well as things that we talked about of introducing within curriculum with other classes as well. She really has been a great inspiration to bringing Jean here as well, to not only just do a performance, but to also work with our students after school. And it's really been her insight that really has made this possible. So I'd like to introduce Ms. Sharos Walker, the House M Assistant Principal.
Thank you, Mrs. DeLeva. I'd also like to extend a warm thank you to our Mayor, Luongo Kern, our Superintendent, Dr. Edward Vincent, our school committee members as well, and everyone who is here in person today for our Black History Month Assembly. I was going to share John Apollone's bio, but we're running out of time. Unfortunately, I will send this out in a communication later. Again, one of the few administrators of color in this district. This is my second year in Medford. I must say that Medford has grown on me. I absolutely love the community and feel very supported, and am happy to be here with you all right now. So, won't take too long to get started. I'd like to introduce my friend and wonderful dance instructor, Jean Apollone. And he has two students who are involved in his after-school program, which is every Monday from 2:30 to 3:30 in cafeteria 2. So you're welcome to join starting next Monday. So the two students are Brianna Perugia and Isaiah Beck. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you and welcome everybody here, the mayor, school, people, superintendent, the principal of the schools and teachers of the schools. I always feel like I truly belong. It's like I'm in high school back again. I left high school 20 years ago, but every time I come here, I feel like from the teachers to the students who see me in the hallways and be like, this is the dance teacher. Or even though if they don't know my name, they call me the artist. So thank you again for making me always feel welcome. And I want you to never be shy to dance. So I let two of my students to speak to you about the program that we have every after school. Even though it's a Haitian club, you all belong to this club. So if you want to learn how to do some movement, as Mr. Isaiah just came in and started dancing with us, even the teachers, if you feel like you're free on Monday after school and you want to participate with us, we open the doors for all of you to be moving. Dancing is a priority for everybody, not only for us dancers, but it is something until you can breathe, you can dance. So I let my dancers give you a little bit of feedback to encourage you to come in and get your workout with us every Monday right after school. Thank you so very much again for having us.
Hi, I'm Marina Pieribia. I'm one of his students, and I would say the dance program is really fun. At first, I was looking for like dance programs, but there's really nothing in school, and Ms. Walker came with the opportunity of having an after-school program with Mr. Apollon, and I felt very lucky to be able to join him.
Well, since I just started, I just want to say my experience so far has been amazing, and this dancing program has given me the ability to step deeper into my nationality and really learn about the background of being a Haitian. That's all.
And the dance that you're gonna see them doing, Rena knows the dance for a long time, but Isaiah, I commend him even more, along with Rena, who really learned the dance like in one day. And you're gonna see him performing that dance. So thank you again. After they finish performing, I'll invite all of you to come in, even the mayor, to come in and learn something very short that I'm gonna teach everybody. The dance we're doing today is the dance of freedom called Igbo. So I want you all to learn the dance after. Not the same choreography, but I'll make something very easy for everybody to really shake their bodies. So welcome the two dancers in the Igbo dance. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much again for a great day. Stay safe and well, and I hope to see you very soon again. Thank you so much.